The idea behind breaking points is that you have a design that will break into a smaller complete game if you need to, so that when things start going wrong, once you start falling behind, you have already planned out places where you can stop and create a fully functional game. Thing to remember is that the players, they don't know what you plan to make. They'll never know that you cut certain features out of the game or that it wasn't the game you hoped to make. The players will only see the final product, and that is why you have to focus on putting enough polish to make it look like that was your intention all along. The first breaking point needs to be the bare minimum that you can ship that game with and have a complete game. So if you're making a first-person shooter, all you need is somebody walking around, shooting a gun, and a few levels. In Monopoly, you'd break it down to roll the dice, move on the board, and depending on what square you land on, you pay money. Keep in mind, this is the bare minimum. This is something you're going to try to avoid unless all hell breaks loose. But even if everything went wrong, this will be a complete project and you will have plenty of time to polish it and make it look good. The next stage up is where you start adding in your unique features that'll set you apart from other games. In the case of our shooter, let's say now you're adding in jumping around and sliding. We're making an acrobatic shooter now. Let's also try to add in 1 or 2 more levels in between the start and the end that we have from our minimum. And in the case of Monopoly, now we're able to add in buying properties. No houses and hotels yet because they're going to take much more balancing. All we have now is we can buy property and other players have to pay when they land on it. We're no longer playing a generic roll and move game. Now we're playing a simplified version of Monopoly. Once again, move up. We can add to the things that we already have. Now this acrobatic shooter is going to have a skill combo. By chaining your accuracy and your acrobatics, we can add a whole new level of depth to this game. Even if we didn't have a score system, it would be a good shooter. But this extra addition is going to make it even better. On the Monopoly example, now we're going to add in the houses and the hotels and the things that might take longer to balance. While this will add a lot of depth to the game, we already have a fully functional game about buying properties. And you want to go up one level at a time. Slightly more complicated, slightly more complicated. Keep going until you build your dream game. This is going to be the crazy level. The things that you can't possibly pull off. By having stages above what you expect to create, you can have an easy way to grow in case the scheduling is working out in your favor. You'll always know what steps to take. For example, in the shooter, now we're having a free-form acrobatic system. Every time you jump through the air, it's completely unique based on whatever data and button presses you use. Or Monopoly, it's going to be a dynamic city that's well-balanced no matter how you build it. Breaking points mean that you don't have to be nearly as accurate on every step along the schedule because your game is already complete when you finish stage 1. Even if I'm working on the dynamic city in Monopoly, once I hit the beta stages where I should be making it look good, I can just break off all of the extra stuff about a dynamic city. I can focus 100% on balance and polish. The breaking points ensure that no matter how the project actually ends, it'll look like this was my intention.